In a smoky Moroccan bar during World War II, one man must choose between love and freedom. This is Casablanca, 1942, a story of sacrifice, loyalty, and the most famous goodbye in movie history. It's World War II. People from all over Europe are trapped in Casablanca, desperate to get exit visas so they can escape to America. Rick Blaine, played by Humphrey Bogart, owns the most famous nightclub in town, Rick's Café Américain. He's cool, cynical, and claims he sticks his neck out for nobody. But behind the tough exterior, Rick is hiding a broken heart. One night, the cafe goes silent. Ilse Lund walks in, played by Ingrid Bergman. Rick freezes. She's the woman he loved in Paris. The woman who disappeared without a word the day the Nazis invaded. But she's not alone. She's with her husband, Victor Laszlo, played by Paul Henria. He's a resistance hero, hunted by the Germans. Rick remembers Paris, the happiest days of his life. Drinking champagne, dancing, laughing, and planning to escape together. But when the Nazis marched in, Ilse never showed up at the train station. She left only a note saying she could never see him again. That betrayal turned Rick into the cold man he is now. Back in Casablanca, Laszlo is running out of options. The Nazis are closing in, and the only way he and Ilse can escape is with 2 exit visas, the rarest documents in the city. And Rick is the one who secretly has them. These letters of transit guarantee safe passage out of Casablanca, no questions asked. They're priceless, and exactly what Laszlo needs to keep the resistance alive. When Ilse finds out, she goes to Rick. She tries to stay calm, but you can hear the desperation in her voice. She asks him to help for Laszlo, for the cause, for everything that's at stake. But Rick shuts her down. He's still hurt, still angry, still replaying the moment she left him in Paris with no explanation. To him, this isn't just about visas. It's about the woman who broke his heart walking back into his life and asking for the one thing he doesn't want to give. So he refuses, even though it's clear the past is eating him alive. After Rick shuts her out, Ilse finally breaks. She returns to him later, but this time the anger is gone, replaced with honesty. She tells Rick the truth about Paris. Laszlo wasn't dead, like she believed. He had escaped a concentration camp and was barely clinging to life. Ilse stayed with him because he needed her and because she couldn't abandon a man fighting for something bigger than both of them. By the time she learned he was alive, it was too late to explain anything to Rick. The world was falling apart, and she had to choose duty over love. Hearing this, Rick's bitterness finally cracks. He realizes she never meant to hurt him. She was trapped in a situation with no good choices. For the first time since she walked back into his life, Rick lets himself feel something other than anger. With the truth finally out, Rick's whole attitude changes. He stops fighting the past and starts thinking about what needs to happen now. He knows Laszlo can't escape without those letters. He knows Ilse won't leave without him. And he knows the Nazis are closing in. So Rick quietly starts forming a plan. He goes to Captain Renault and pretends he's finally giving in, that he's ready to hand Laszlo over and run away with Ilse. Renault believes every word, thinking he's about to make the arrest of his career. But Rick is playing him. He arranges for Laszlo and Ilse to meet at the airport that night, acting like it's all part of Renault's plan. Meanwhile, the Nazis are watching closely, convinced Rick is about to betray Laszlo. Everything is tense, quiet, and dangerous. Everyone thinks they know what's about to happen, but only Rick knows the real plan. The pieces are in motion. Everything is heading toward the airport. The airport is swallowed in heavy fog, the kind that makes the runway feel endless and empty. Rick arrives with Ilse and Laszlo, moving with quiet purpose. Every sound is muted, the distant engines, the footsteps on the tarmac, like the whole world is holding its breath. Renault thinks he's about to make his big arrest. The Germans think Rick is finally playing along. No one realizes Rick has already flipped the script. He hands over the letters of transit, calmly, decisively, and he gives them to both Ilse and Laszlo. Ilse freezes, caught between shock and heartbreak. Laszlo sees exactly what Rick is doing. The fog drifts around them, swallowing the edges of the moment. The plane waits in the distance, lights glowing faintly through the mist. In the fog, Rick tells Ilsa she has to go with Laszlo. She tries to fight it, but he stays calm, reminding her that what they had can't continue here. He tells her she'll regret staying with him, even if she can't see it now. Then he gives her the last line he'll ever say to her. "Here's looking at you, kid." It's soft. It's final. And it's the last thing he ever says to her as the plane waits in the fog. Just as the plane is about to take off, Strasser pulls up through the fog and realizes what Rick has done. He rushes for the radio to stop the flight, and Rick shoots him before he can say a word. The plane disappears into the fog, leaving the runway silent. Renault steps beside Rick, and the two start walking away together. Rick glances over and says the line that seals their new alliance. "Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship." Casablanca closes on sacrifice, loyalty, and a choice that reshapes every life involved. Rick lets go of the woman he loves, saves the man who can change the world, and walks into the fog with a new ally at his side. It's a story about doing the right thing when it costs the most, and why that moment still defines the film today.